and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with us today is Marquita Sykes, and she is our homeless liaison.
Yes.
Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
It's always around this time of year we bring you on the show to talk about something very special that we try to do in our district.
Yes.
And you just put up our new gift giving tree.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about the gift giving tree.
Okay, so our gift giving tree has been around since 2011. Miss Bethella Hickman was our homeless liaison back then, and she started the gift giving tree. What we really wanted to do was make sure that our McKinney-Vento eligible students, which are our students in transition, all got a gift from the school system. So what we did was, the idea behind it was to get gifts and have an angel tree and put a smile on our students' faces.
That's awesome, and I think a lot of us have been participating. So how many gifts do you think you have given away over the years?
Oh, and we have had as many as 200 to 250 names on our tree for certain years, because what we were doing, we're getting just all of our families and all of their siblings used to be on the tree. So we would have as many as 300 gifts, and we were fortunately every year we have a gift for each student that name is on the tree.
And where exactly is it located, and exactly how many years have we been doing this?
This would be our 6th year, so this is our 6th annual gift giving tree, and the tree is actually located in the lobby downstairs of a central office, central administration building.
So how can someone watching this episode say, hey, I think I want to go get a gift? What do they need to do?
Okay, well, I put tags on our gift giving tree, where we put the tree up every year right before Thanksgiving or holiday break, and then we put tags and ornaments with student information on it. They have initials of the child, their favorite color, their sizes for clothes, their hobbies, and all we ask is that people will just come and grab a name or grab a tag off the tree, and then they will bring that gift back to central office.
Now, what age range or gifts are we purchasing for?
We're purchasing for any students that are McKinney-Vento that's been identified in our schools from pre-K 3 all the way up through 12th grade.
So how do you choose who gets to go on the tree? I know we did the initials, but how do you choose who gets to go?
So what I do is I have a list of all of our students who are eligible for McKinney-Vento, and the way they're eligible is because they are students that are in transition, maybe because of economic hardship. So all of our names, what we do is we make sure that we call the parents and ask them, is it okay for them to have their name on our tree? If the parents agree, then we get their sizes and things, and then we put it on the tags and we put them down on our tree each year.
So how many tags do you think are going to be on the tree this year?
This year I put up about 50 already, and I have some more in my office as we speak, so it'll probably be about 20 more coming in, so about 70 students for this school year.
So you've been doing it for 6 years. Do you foresee any changes in how you'll be working this program this year?
Yes, we did have a little bit of a change. Instead of doing it, because that 250 number is kind of a huge number, I went to the schools and asked if they're having angel trees this year. So if a school is having an angel tree, I gave them our students' names, and they're going to actually have those names on the trees in their school building. So schools will be participating in getting gifts in their own school, and if they're not having a tree in their school, that's when we add their names to our list. One other special thing this year is that Discovery of Lakewood Academy, they agreed to take 25 of our names this year, and I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Smeagol and Ms. Williams Hood, who's going to take those names and purchase some items for those students in their school.
That is awesome. So with the trees being at the schools, that's extra support for the kids.
Yes.
So more names can go on the trees here downtown.
Yes. Yes.
That is awesome. So why do you think it's important for us to have the tree in our lobby area?
I think, it's just the holiday season, so just to having that tree for when people come in, it brings joy, it brings a smile to our face, and to know that we're giving back to our students who, may be a little bit less fortunate or may not be able to get all the gifts. That, to me, it's heartwarming to know that I'm making someone else have a great holiday also.
So when can folks start coming down here and picking tags off the trees?
Yes, the tags were actually been put up last Tuesday, so at this time it's up for grabs. Please come on down and grab your tag off the tree.
Now, it's important for them to come get the tag to purchase the items, but when are the items due back to here?
Okay, we're asking for all items to come back on Friday, December 16th. With that, we're asking for that date for it to come back with either being wrapped or either in a gift bag with the tag attached to the gift, so that we can make sure those correct students get their gifts.
And it's a lot of work, I would think, after you bring the gifts back and have to go through it. How are they distributed? How do you take care of that?
Yes, what we do is we go to the 7th floor, the conference room, the C's conference room. What we do there is we will put all the gifts out in number form, because all of the tags do have a number on them. So all of the gifts are spread out by the number and the name, last name of the family. And then we ask the parents to actually come out and pick up the gifts. So they'll be called, and they've already been told to come out on December 20th and December 21st to actually pick up those gifts to take back. And we want to make sure that the parents bring their IDs so they can get up to the 7th floor and get those gifts.
Right. So what are some of the reactions of the parents when they see the gifts that have been picked out for their children?
I just think they're appreciative, and you know, some of them kind of let me know how you know, without this they wouldn't have anything for their kids. So just to see the excitement on their faces, and sometimes they even bring the kids with them. And since the gifts are wrapped, they don't know what they have, but they're kind of anxious to see what's in the gift bags.
That's exciting. I'm glad we've been doing this for 6 years. So let's do a quick recap of the dates and when they can come by and the particulars about the tree.
Okay, so we're asking for the gifts to come back by Friday, December 16th. If you want to bring it back earlier, that's fine. You can put them right under the tree in our cab lobby. The parents will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, December 20th and December 21st, to pick up those items. So that's the importance of having those gifts back by that Friday, so we can get everything laid out and be ready for the parents when they come in. And
I guess a great reminder for anyone coming to the building, make sure they bring their ID when they come in, because we have ID check here. So this is awesome, and I'm glad we're doing it again for a 6th year. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing this valuable information with us.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we have two special guests in the studio to talk a little bit about sports medicine with the Norfolk Public Schools and the partnership that we have. First, we have Dr. Fred Bagares from EVMS. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And then he's brought our favorite, Mollie-Jean DeLisio from Centera Sports Medicine.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mollie, and welcome back, Mollie.
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Bagares, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with EVMS and the Norfolk Public Schools.
I'm a sports medicine physician in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at Eastern Virginia Medical School. My role is mainly in the medical management of athletic injuries affiliated with Norfolk Public Schools. So I'm working with the athletic trainers, local physical therapists, and obviously the athletes and their families.
Okay. Mollie, what do you do with for Norfolk Public Schools?
Well, I'm the team coordinator for athletic training with Centera. So I serve as the liaison between Norfolk Public Schools and Centera, so getting them in to see physicians with their appointments. But I also am the lead athletic trainer for the middle schools, help out in the high schools as well, so a little bit of everything.
Okay. And you're also our lead athletic trainer with our concussion care. And that, Dr. Bagares, that's why we really have you here, because you're our lead physician with our concussion management program for Norfolk Public Schools. And we want to talk about that now. So what is a concussion?
Excuse me. A concussion is typically a trauma-induced biomechanical and neuromechanical injury that causes dysfunction in the brain. It's typically seen in sports, and it can have a variety of manifestations from athletes can complain of headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, but they can also have some other manifestations, disruption in sleep, disruption in mood. It's typically a short-lived phenomenon, but there's typically a period of time where you have to watch the patient to make sure that we can safely return them to play.
All right, Mollie, just kind of piggybacking off of that, you deal with the concussions directly, firsthand. So what does an athletic trainer do in terms of evaluation, and then how do they involve the physician?
Well, usually what happens is whether it be a practice or a game where the athlete sustains a hit significant enough to cause some sort of a symptom, we immediately remove them from play if we notice it, or if they report it to us. Sometimes their coach will report it to us, and we do a sideline concussion assessment. We use a SCAT-2 form which just goes through some balance, coordination, orientation of person, place, and time, a little bit of memory, and we make sure that that athlete does not go back to play for at least that day. If we feel that they do have a concussion and the evaluation shows that, then we immediately obviously speak to a parent, inform them, and then we get in touch with our concussion management team, including Dr. Bagares, the concussion physician.
Okay, that's a good lead-in. Talk about the concussion management team for Norfolk Public Schools.
So we include not only just the athletic trainer, the coaches are involved as well. In the schools, we have the athletic director, the principal, school nurse, school psychologist, guidance counselors. We want to make sure that the students are not only being seen by us after school and practice, but that they're, having the modifications in school that they need, if needed. Some concussions require it, some don't, but we want everyone to be informed so that we can make sure that they're 100% in the classroom as well as on the field.
Okay, and you mentioned that the physician is involved in that concussion team. So when would Dr. Bagares get involved with the concussion?
So every concussion that happens to an athlete here in Norfolk Public Schools requires that they see a physician trained in concussion management. So we have several that we work directly with. Dr. Bagares is obviously our top choice, if you will. So we call them almost immediately. Hi, Dr. Bagares, I have this athlete, I need to get them in to see you. And sometimes they will go in for an appointment early in the concussion. Sometimes it's a few days later. Sometimes they're symptomatic, sometimes they're not. It really just depends on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. So, Doc, tell us, here comes this athlete in to see you. What do you go through with this athlete, and then do you communicate with the athletic trainer for the care? So
fortunately, the athletic trainers are really kind of the key player in my mind in terms, along with the parents and the coaches, but in terms of communication, the athletic trainers have done a great job of communicating to me before actually seeing the patient, before the patient actually sees me. So they send me any information they have about the mechanism of injury. They give me any potential background, because athletic trainers you typically know these athletes way better, and probably for years on end. So they know these athletes better. When they're seeing me, my main goal is to make sure, number one, that they're neurologically intact, and there's no reason to to be concerned of any potential brain injury such as like a fracture or a bleed or a spinal cord injury. So that also leads into other things I'm looking for. So a lot of these concussions are a result of traumas to the head, but oftentimes kids can have traumas to the neck, the shoulder. They can also sprain an ankle or a knee. So I'm screening for other injuries aside from the concussion. I also take a very detailed concussion history, which is probably one of the biggest portions of the examination, just to kind of put that athlete's current concussion into context of their overall health. How athletes respond to concussions in the past will typically help me make a decision on when and if they're ready to move forward. Fortunately for the athletes in the Norfolk Public School system, everyone or a large portion of the athletes are screened with a neurocognitive test, which is the impact test. The impact test there's a lot of neurocognitive tests out there, but the impact test is kind of the widely utilized from the high school level all the way up to the professional levels across the world, really. So I am impact certified to interpret this 30-minute symptom-based and cognitive test. Okay.
I want to interrupt. One area that we have, I don't know if it's an issue, but we have to address all the time, and Molly, you can chime in on this, is that credentialed physician to manage a concussion. A lot of times our student athletes will say, well, I'm going to go see my family physician or a PA or some other medical specialty other than a trained physician. So how do we communicate that to the parents that, one, it's part of our program, and how do we communicate that out, and how do physicians in the community become involved with this? Because I think that's the gap that we're missing.
Right. So that's an excellent point. Is, well, who who do you know is trained in concussion and who do you know to trust? I mean, that's really kind of probably the most important question, because the fact is that all medical providers, we're talking physicians, nurse practitioners, specialties across the board, may or may not know what a concussion looks like, but they might not have any training on how to manage it. So my advice to the parent, aside from talking with athletic trainers will typically know who is trained in concussion. They can obviously ask their pediatricians or their primary care providers as also a potential source. You can also go to the Impact website, which you can search for providers across the board. And that website is quite helpful because Impact certified providers, it's not just physicians, there's athletic trainers, there's physical therapists. So it's nice to know who in your community is trained in concussion or has an interest in concussion, because I think that's a very important part of medical care in general, is that while there are providers that can see and manage concussions, you want someone who likes managing concussions.
Okay. So Mollie, from the athletic trainer's point of view, how do you talk to the parents and educate the parents when there's a concussion on who the right person is to see? And obviously EVMS is our partner, but there's CHKD, there's Bon Secours, there's plenty of people out there. We just want to make sure the athlete's seeing the right person. So from the athletic trainer's point of view,
usually when we do a parent notification, hopefully they're there, if it's in a game or something, or we get them on the phone, we talk to them, we let them know that our protocol states that they have to see a physician trained in concussion management. Usually that raises the question, who? Or how do I figure that out? Just what Dr. Bagares was saying. So we try and lead them down the path to find the right physician. We offer our services to refer directly to our partners, but we also let them know we know of those physicians in the area at CHKD or Bon Secours, like you were mentioning. We let them know that they have options, and it's ultimately up to them, but before that athlete is released to come back and fully return to play, they have to be seen by someone who's trained. And usually that response, sometimes it causes a little bit of, questions. Why or how come I can't go see my pediatrician or PCP or what have you? But this is what we're doing for our kids to keep them safe, and we want to make sure that they're being treated and their concussions are being managed by the properly trained individuals.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, concussions is probably the #1 injury we deal with. We could talk a long time about it. So again, we want to thank Dr. Bagares, everything that you do for Norfolk Public Schools. Obviously, Mollie, you've been doing it for a while. We want to keep you on. So we appreciate the partnership, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is James Gunther. He is the adaptive physical education teacher here in Norfolk Public Schools. Did I say that right?
You did. Thank you.
It's like I thought I had you on the show before because you've done so many great things, so I'm glad to have you here today.
It's a great time to be here.
Yes, and so explain to us, what exactly does an adaptive physical education teacher do?
Well, I'm also a physical education teacher, and I work with kids with disabilities, so it's be able to evaluate the students' needs, be able to assess where they are, be able to design and implement the program, and modify the curriculum to help all students become successful within our school system in physical education.
So do you do this for all students in all ranges, or?
Well, we kindergarten through 22, depending upon when they age out and when students graduate. I help with the elementary teachers with the fundamental skills, the running, the hopping, skipping, jumping or throwing. And then as the students move up to middle school and high school, there's different things that we do with the physical fitness test, different activities and games where we can help modify the activities for the students. So I collaborate a lot with the teachers and help them.
You were just recently recognized, and I'm going to read this because this is important. You were named the Adaptive P.E. Teacher of the Year by the Virginia Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. Wow. How did that make you feel?
Wow, it was humbling. It was awesome. It was my 3rd time being nominated for the award, and to finally win was just an experience that I didn't ever think I would have, and it was just wonderful. Very honored and privileged to be awarded.
What's the criteria for this type of award?
There are different criterias. Of course, you have to be in the profession and the organization. Then you have to do different in-services and different presenting at the different conferences, being an active member in the association as well, and different things within the community, the profession, and school system as well too.
Why do you think you won?
I don't know. I think it's just the continuing in the body of work that we've done here in Norfolk. We've added different events and different organizations. We've collaborated with different partnerships. We've added a lot of different programs into our school system. I try to help the community out by getting our kids involved within the community, and just the different things I've done also within the organization.
How long have you been doing this work?
I think this is my 12th year doing adaptive physical education. Before that, I was at Ruffner Middle School and then Booker T for 1 year.
What do you like most about your job?
Just seeing the kids succeed. Their smiles, their faces. The other week I was working with a couple kids rock climbing at ODU. That was an experience. In a few weeks I'll be going swimming with some kids at Crossroads for their program. So just seeing the kids' faces, trying something new, doing things that they didn't think they would be able to do, and just be successful at that.
Right, right. Why do you think it's important for special needs students to have a physical education teacher?
Well, every child is unique and every child is different. Different things that they might need adapted or modified, and for me it's helping them out with their teachers, their paraprofessionals, or just in general, letting them become successful. It's important for them to realize they have potential to do things and that they can reach their goals just like anyone else can.
Right, right. And you've been doing Little Feet Meet, and you branched off to try something a little different this year with Big Feet Meet.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Big Feet Meet, this is in our second year of doing that. That was really successful. All the programs kind of grow upon each other. One at Easton Preschool is a young athletes program where the students are in an 8-week curriculum and they learn basic running, jumping, hopping skills, throwing. And then at the end of that, there's a little field day for them to just enjoy and continue practicing the skills. A Little Feet Meet is just where kids get involved in participating in various activities. And the Big Feet Meet is one of my favorites now, where the students are actually timed and measured for different events. And they can just see how great they've grown, and just, it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah, what's the difference between the Little Feet Meet and the Big Feet Meet?
The big difference is the timed and measured events, where now we're trying to record how great our students are doing, how fast they can run or how far they can throw. There's different events in there like the Turbo Jav, which is a miniature javelin. So it's just really nice to see the difference in them participating and then now getting measured and timed for their events, just like a track and field event.
Why do you think it's important for us to do the young athletes, Little Feet Meet and Big Feet Meet?
It's kind of like early intervention with reading. The younger we read to our kids, the better they become and enjoy reading and fluid with the language. In the same regard, physical education is no different. The more we get our kids up and moving, the greater they're going to have a chance for longer life activity. When we show our kids how to get involved in sports at a younger age or athletics, it's just something that they can continue throughout their life and enjoy.
Yeah, so who are some of the partners who have been partnering with you in these activities?
Special Olympics has been a major partner. The other one is Achilles Kids program. That's a program where kids can either run, walk, or roll their way to complete a marathon. That was pretty nice last year. We did 2 schools participated in that. This year we have 5 schools participating in that, so just seeing the growth of the program is really interesting, and just loving that the students, and we're reaching more students, showing them that it's okay to be active, it's great to be engaged in our community and participate in different things.
Right. Tell me a little bit more about the young athletes at Easton Preschool. Is that new, or?
That is in its second year as well too. We'll have our 3rd event at the end of this school year. So the first week they'll just learning basic stopping, going commands and running, moving in space, kind of your personal space, your general space awareness. And the second week they kind of learn a bit about throwing and catching and running and hopping and just off different skills, basic skills.
You got a lot of great programs. I had an opportunity to look at one of them with the Achilles program, and the kids were running and they got free tennis shoes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a wonderful program that I learned about last year at one of our conferences, the Vapor conference that I won the award for, and I just was able to see that we could do something like that here. And what it is it's pretty much an organization, it's an international organization that we partner with, and I have to fill out a chapter application for it where I have to give about our students' demographics and a little bit about their background, not too much though. And they just run, walk, or roll their way, or however the student moves to complete a marathon from the starting point of the school year to the ending of the school year. And it's just little by little they'll gain the completion of the marathon and just, yeah, be rewarded with different incentives along the way too. So
How
it's
did
pretty
they
nice.
feel about winning those tennis shoes?
Oh, the smiles were endless. They were excited. I mean, it's pretty neat to get a free pair of running shoes. They were blown away, I think.
Right, right. So what other programs do you have coming up?
Coming up, I partner a lot with Old Dominion University and trying to get our students to work with future physical education teachers. They are starting programs now on the weekends for students with disabilities, so I'm trying to get our students to go to Old Dominion on the weekends and just participate in different activities there. It just continually work with the therapeutic recreation department in Norfolk, trying to get them to join community programs and just be a part of our community. Because one of the bigger pictures in life is that we're all valued and accepted, and we have to accept everyone, and our students are no different, and they should have the right to go and do things in our community as well too. So just trying to get them in our community to do more programs.
All right, well, congratulations. You truly deserve that honor. We appreciate all that you do for our students in adaptive physical education.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.